What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
Let them know. Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I'm Darren Jaime, and coming up tonight on Perspectives, we talk about an issue that is affecting residents right here in the borough of the Bronx. We're talking about the Adult Sickle Cell Center that was here in Montefiore Medical Center in the borough of the Bronx. That center, as of January the 9th, has closed down, forcing many to have to scramble to find the much-needed resources to help them. Here in studio now to share a little bit about the plight of trying to have the center reopen and the plight of those who are actually trying to find services and resources is Donnette Caroll. She is the president of and a member of the coalition to reopen the Adult Sickle Cell Center at Montefiore. And we thank you so much for sharing with us, Donnette.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. As we talked about it, January the 9th was a huge blow to many of your constituents here as the Adult Sickle Cell Center closed down at Montefiore Medical Center. And you've been providing sickle cell patients with a lot of resources, particularly that of the adult population. And for those of us who don't really or may not be fully aware as to what exactly is sickle cell, let's go there first.
Okay. Well, sickle cell is a genetic blood disorder, and it's characterized by the shape of the cells. You know, it looks like a sickle. That's why it's called sickle cell. And that those cells, when they really cause congestion in the blood vessels, it causes such excruciating pain. And the pain, I cannot describe the pain because many times people have asked me, what does it feel like? And for different people, it feels different. For me, it feels like probably 100 men inside my bones scraping it with pieces of glass. And it's totally paralyzing. And oftentimes what we get is that people don't feel that we're experiencing that kind of pain. So it sorts of leaves such a negative feeling among people. But this is a disease that is inherited. We have no control over it. So we inherit a gene from one parent, and when two abnormal gene comes together, that's when you have sickle cell. But you have variants of sickle cell. For example, you may have the sickle gene and any other abnormal gene which goes from B to Z. And when they combine with that S, you have some variation of sickling in the cells.
For years, Montefiore Medical Center was a place that adults could go to be able to receive services in regards to sickle cell. What kind of services were being offered at Montefiore?
Well, I'd say premier services because Montefiore had the real model for pain management as far as sickle cell is concerned, because they had this day and night hospital. And Dr. Lynette Benjamin and Dr. Ronald Nagel, they did a lot of research in sickle cell. And the establishment of that model was so key in really helping managing the pain that comes with sickle cell, because it alleviated a lot of the adults from going to the emergency room. They would go directly to that day-night hospital and get the treatment that is needed to, you know, to alleviate their pain. Yeah.
And some people have the misconception about sickle cell because they feel like maybe it's not as tough a disease as other people might make it out to be, as some of the other major diseases that get a lot of publicity. What are some of those misconceptions about sickle cell that maybe we need to really bring to light?
Well, you know what I say, he who feels it knows it. So if you feel the pain that is connected with sickle cell, I don't think you would ever say that statement again, because some of the misconceptions they have is that, which really bothers me, is that we are drug seekers. You know, we go to the emergency room because we're looking for drugs, because you have to use in many cases heavy narcotics to treat the pain. Right. And if you don't have proper pain management, you're going to get a problem, because then you'll have people who use the emergency room as a doctor, because they go there for emergency care only when they have the pain. But when you have an established center like what was at Montefiore, where you had this day-night hospital feature, then they can go there. You have people who are really knowledgeable about the disease and how to take care of it. So the quality of life of people living with it really improves. But here now you have a hit and miss. You know, services are fragmented. When I have pain, I go to the emergency room and I get pain medication. So if you are in the emergency room and you only see people come in when they are having pain, I guess you would start thinking that that's what you're coming for, just to get pain medication. And that is such a negative, it has such a negative force on the population as a whole. And also to think that they would consider us as faking. Now, why would you fake such pain? So it's the whole thing about not understanding the disease, the manifestations, the nuances that's, you know, connected with the disease. And if you've never treated someone with sickle cell, you will be that, you know, unaware.
What kind of numbers would you see at the center?
Well, I know from what I have been told is that there were 1,000 patients registered, but you wouldn't find 1,000 patients probably coming in at one time because sickle cell is so symptomatic. You can go good for a year, and then the following year you'll be in the hospital 4 or 5 times, or you may not be in the hospital for 2 years, but you do still need to have your regular follow-up care because you need to look at other aspects of what is happening to you.
We do know the Adult Sickle Cell Center was at Montefiore Medical Center, but on January the 9th, it closed its doors and thus sent people scrambling to find help for resources and help and treatment of that nature. What kind of effect has the closing had on the people that you've dealt with?
Well, you know, from Montefiore's point of view, they will tell you that the program isn't closed, that they moved it to the state-of-the-art map building. And what they have given, instead of a center that had 5 days, Monday through Friday, I think it was about 9 to 5, and the day hospital and the night hospital had their hours too. Now you have Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5 in the map building. And for example, yesterday a young lady called me and she was just totally frustrated because she attends Fashion Institute of Technology and her hours are really difficult in school. She has been trying to get an appointment. She had an appointment in January that was canceled because the center was closed. They rescheduled her and said, okay, you could come in March. They called her and said, okay, we can't take you in March, you have to come in April. So she saw her doctor back in, I think, October or November. They gave her an appointment to come back in January. She won't see another doctor again until April. So it's that sort of confusion. And then there is a number that is given that she has said to me, she has called and she was totally confused because when she called it after school, it said absolutely nothing about sickle cell. So she didn't know she was calling the right number. So all of that adds to their confusion. One young man I spoke with today, he said, I don't know who my doctor is because I had a doctor who is no longer there. I don't know who to go to. So I don't think there was any thought given to how they're going to transition these individuals from the center that they had to what the model now that they're following. So to me, it seems like they have left the model of success that they had and have now gone to this model that is a failure.